This PHC Wrap Up Show from the 2022 Ncha Futurity is proudly presented by Foresight.
Hi everybody, welcome to day 6 of the Ncha Futurity. Joined here today with Mr. Tim Smith. Tim, welcome.
Thank you, Mark.
Always a pleasure to have you on here.
Always fun to be with you.
Well, I tell you what, this has been the most anticipated, or one of the most anticipated futurities after last year.
Right.
We've been waiting a long time, and all of a sudden these first 6 days have flown by.
Yes, they have.
Like.
Yes, they have, and been some really good colts again this year, and real consistent scores. I mean, a lot of 18 to 23s are high number, and there's a bunch of them jammed up in there, and a lot of really nice colts.
Yeah, and entries are up this year. We went from 529 total entries in the Open last year to 622 this year. A lot of that has to do with the different levels and how it's structured. It's one entry fee. If you're eligible for the limited, intermediate, you're automatically entered.
Exactly, and that's been really good for it. We've seen a lot of young guys come in here, young guys and gals, and show their horses and show them very successfully, and there's a lot of ways to win money in the fraternity, a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I think it just helps everybody kind of, have a shot in a different place or wherever, and if they have a shot in the Open, it's great, and if not, like I've talked to several people that have just stubbed their toe a little bit and like, well, now I'm shooting for the intermediate.
Exactly.
Now I'm shooting for the limited. So, interesting fun fact, the bubble turned out to be exactly the same as last year at 213.5 to advance. Looked like we had about 5 or 6 extras. So like you said, a lot of consistent in the middle scores. We had, I believe, 15 scores this year with a 220 or better. Last year we had 16. So everything has been pretty much on par with what we did last year.
Pretty much on par, and the first morning started out a little quiet, and then Ryan Rapp jumped up there and marked a 22 right off the bat on a Don't Stop Believin', named after Joe Howard Williamson, Jiggin' Little Joe, and that held for a while, and then we've had 4 22s and of course a 23 leading with Austin Shepard.
Yeah, and that was cool to see Ryan. I mean, he's been working hard for a long time. We've watched him grow up. I mean, you and I both have, and to see him come in there, and I mean, he looked confident. I have not seen him look that confident showing a 3-year-old before, and he had every right to, because that horse is legit.
That is a very good horse, and Phil told me that was a very good horse, and Ryan showed him very, very, very good, and that boy, he's got cutting horse pedigree running through his blood with mom and dad.
A lot of black type.
Yeah, a lot of black type. I'm very proud of Ryan, and you can look for him to advance that horse a long ways. He can be there on the last day.
Yeah, I think that's just going to give him more confidence. But let's go ahead. Yesterday we saw Austin Shepard come down there. 223 on Kittenish.
Very, very good horse. A hottish mare out of the great producing mare Showbiz Kitty. Everything that she's had has been a superstar, and there was a lot of press on this mare.
Yeah.
She was one of the favorites coming in here, and Austin, being as cool as he is, he showed her very clean, very, very sanitary. He didn't take any chances, and she has a lot of extra parts to her. She's a very good horse.
Well, that horse had a lot of gears, and Austin showed really smart. I mean, those cows gave him just enough to show off just some of the bits and pieces, and left everybody sitting on the edge of the seat shaking their heads and like going, wow, because that horse, I mean, looked like a 7-year-old.
Yeah, she was exceptional. Big, strong, pretty mare, and in the hottishes this year, there's several of them in the top end. They've looked really, really good, as several other sires have had great offspring, but that mare is certainly one you can count on, and with a name like that, she's pretty easy to remember, and we were kidding each other in the arena there just a little bit ago and talking about the second go-around, and Austin said, yeah, I'm going to work her in the morning right off the bat, whether she shows tomorrow or not. So.
He's going to stick with what's worked for him in the past, and he's got every right to. I mean, 2-time champion, and all the black type there, and that one bred by Roy Stolkup once again and owned by Billy Wolf, so congratulations to that team. They showed what they've got, and I think they're going to be fun to watch in the second go, and very moving on from there.
And
some other 222s to talk about. Lloyd Cox on Hot Buns. That was the highest, so far, the highest Western Bloodstock sale graduate moving forward. A hottish out of Don't Look Twice, another phenomenal bottom side.
Yeah, and that horse went about in the middle of the go-round, and Lloyd showed that horse very aggressively. I mean, he cut for probably a minute and a half, hand-down cutting. I mean, he cut 3 cows quick, and very trained horse, very low-headed, very typical Lloyd Cox, and certainly one that, is going to be we heard from as we go on, and again, a Western Bloodstock sale graduate. And you know, the damn side of these pedigrees, if you look at these top horses here, you've got some of the greatest producing mares in our industry, and we can't stress enough how important that is.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. And that one, Hot Buns, bred by Waco Bend Ranch, owned by Dustin and Dina Adams. Fun to see them back you know, in the owner list.
Yeah, it's great. And of course, they were the proud owners of Hottish, and I'm sure bought this colt with ideas of maybe replacing Hottish, as we lost him way too soon. And it's great to see him back in there. And you know, they probably a little extra pressure on Lloyd. You know, that horse could get entered in the non-pro if something goes wrong. You know?
Or if it doesn't go wrong, it still might get entered.
Dusty likes to cut. We know Dusty likes to cut.
Yeah. And then Kenny Platt, of course. I mean, how amazing it's been to watch him all year on Dr. Suish. And here we got to see him on Counting. It's an I'm Counting checks on Sue's So Smart. So a lot of ties right there.
Exactly. And of course, this horse bred by J5 Horse Ranch Management, but owned by Robert Tergemba. But Kenny's had a fabulous year. He's got it going on, and both of his horses, he showed a Hottie stud and marked, I believe, a 220 on that as well. But Counting, again, a very mature horse, and Kenny showed him like an older horse.
Yes.
I mean, he called on him a little bit, and you know, he kind of forced their hand, and they paid him for it. It was good to see.
Yeah, well, Kenny trusted his training on that one, and that's what's got him to where he's gotten today, because he's just that good.
Yeah, he's not afraid.
He is not
afraid.
And congratulations to Robert Tergemba. He's been walking around here like a proud daddy.
Yes, he has.
Even before Kenny showed, he was a little nervous, and now he's kind of relaxed a little bit. And it's fun to see somebody like that that's been in the industry so long have you know, a good lick here in the first go.
Bob loves his horses.
He does.
He loves his geldings. They're mostly all geldings, and they're big winners, and that's a match made in heaven. The Tergembas and the Platts. It's a formula for success.
Yeah. And then how about Tyler Merrill? I mean, 222 on Uptown Funk, a catch ride for Matt Miller. Highbrow cat out of Smart Little Margie, owned by Brengard Cutting Horses. Great to see them back in
there. Exactly. Tyler did a fabulous job of showing this horse, and I had heard about this horse earlier in the year, and of course Tyler leads the limited and the intermediate with that big score of a 222, and one of the cats back up there in the leaderboard again. Highbrow cat out of Smart Little Margie. That's some old school pedigree right there, a little bit on that bottom side, but another horse, certainly, you know, been in Matt Miller's program and bred by Blakely Semino.
Yeah, and Tyler's had some success here riding behind Matt. Obviously, he knows the program. He fits that deal real well, and smart choice by Matt to put Tyler on there. You know, and he's in the driver's seat right now with the limited and intermediate. I mean, he's leading the pack.
Both of them.
He's just thinking, I just got to be smart and consistent. And
Tyler never gets excited.
No.
When you watch Tyler show, you can't tell if he's marking a 22 or a 202. He sets up there, cuts his cows, and rides his horse, and that's a gift.
Yes.
That is a real gift from those of us that have go down there, and sometimes it's not as easy as he makes it look.
No, it's not. And there's a lot of up and coming riders too that have done really well here.
Yes, sir.
You know, I mean, there's Justin White, some of the South Texas connection. Justin White, Thomas Bray, both got two back, big scores. 21s, 20s, 19 and a halves.
And of course Eric Weishart from the West Coast, he's got a 19 and a half and a very nice horse. Lindy Thorne has a very good horse marked at 219 and a half, and I believe that is the first foal out of Misty Greason's dual ray mare that she's hauling. You'll see that mare in the World Finals, and that horse has been good all year. Allie Good, 219, of course, past world champion in the non-pro. She's no stranger to this pen. Justin Chalmers with a 219 for Slate River Ranch, you know, on one of the ones that Johnny Mitchell has trained. These people are all talented people, and have got their colts showed really good in the first round, and look for big things from them in the next round.
And there's a bunch more of them we haven't mentioned, but I mean, these are just some names. And then we've also got the catch riders, some of the international contingent. Australia obviously being the big contingent. How fun was it to see Roger Wagner back in the pen
again, and you know, and Darren Simpkins. I mean, Cool Hand Luke, how good is Darren? And Roger back again.
And
Doey's here, and you know, these are people that we grew up with and have, you know, showed with forever, and it's fun to see them here and you know, have everybody back in the fold. It's been a great 6 days. You know, in my opinion, the cutting starts tomorrow morning. You know, we get serious the next 3 days, and you start to see these colts sort out. Some of the ones, like I said, that have marked 17 and a halves, maybe had a little bobble, but there's plenty of good horses, and I mean, we're not giving the title to any one of them leading scores. They're going to have to earn it, and there's plenty of colts in there that could jump up in this next round.
Yeah, and and I mean, there's obviously with the success stories, there's also some hard luck stories. We've seen Clark Kopke.
Yeah, Clark has a fabulous metallic rebel horse, and he showed him yesterday. Had a great first cow. It's the first time I got to see him, and that horse, that is a special horse. He's big, he's strong, he's crouchy, he's reachy, and the cattle won that battle. But that is certainly a horse we're going to hear from. Clark did a great job of training him, and he's going to win something somewhere. That is a big time good one, and there's certainly others that have had a little tough luck, but that's cutting. I mean, it's not as easy as it looks sometimes.
Yeah, that's the Futurity.
That's the Futurity.
For sure. And some of the other catch riders over here, Isaac Westerhouse from Australia, and Travis Rempel. We can't forget him. He just went over the $1 million up there in Canada doing it the hard way. I'm not sure if that's US dollars or Canadian dollars. We need to check that stat. Depends on the exchange rate, I think.
Exchange rate with Travis.
But congrats. But Travis is always fun to watch, and he comes down and rides for Jesse, and always does a fantastic job for him. So, well, let's talk about the Western Bloodstock. I mean, a stat that stood out to me was Jeremy told me 77% of all the entries at this Futurity are Western Bloodstock graduates.
Exactly, and that could be a yearling sale or a 2-year-old sale. They have gone through a Western Bloodstock sale, but we've got some graduates from the 2-year-old sale that really rang the bell here. Hot Lalani with Michael Cooper at 220, Soul Rain with Austin at 220, Justin Wright marked at 20 on Isaboon Roll, Cellini, and of course the 222 that Hot Buns and Lloyd Dennis marked. I just think that if you want a winner, you can sure get it at Western Bloodstock sale. Our consignments are up about 150 horses this year, which is good. We're going to see a lot of them. We've got the Wrap Ranch 2-year-old sale preview Friday and Saturday, December 2nd and 3rd, and Phil invites everybody out there that's got a 2-year-old wants to show it off. I believe you can see that on Performance Horse Central.
Yeah, on CHC Live Scoring, we'll have the live webcast. But that deal last year, we've done that now, and I had so many of those guys come up to me, even this year leading up to this show, and they said, man, there was a lot of interest there, and I got buyers out of that deal, and I think it just, some of those horses maybe didn't video quite as good, or maybe they just stood out that day, and they caught the interest, and a lot of the interested buyers are right there watching these colts. They can go talk to the 2-year-old guys.
Exactly.
It's a no pressure situation. Cows are great, so it's a really good way to see these horses in their element. Without all the hype and the noise and the stress.
Exactly, and the Wrap Ranch is a great place. The arenas are fabulous, and it's really special to go out there and watch them live. The videos are good, and we all do our video homework. But you can see things live you are not going to see in a video. And if you're in town and you're a prospective buyer, I would strongly urge that you take a trip out to the Wrap Ranch on Friday and Saturday, the 2nd and 3rd, and watch them colts, because there may be one, like you said, that didn't video good, or maybe doesn't have the 5-star pedigree, and you're like, man, that's a good horse, you can see that live. And of course, the regular Western Bloodstock Futurity sales from the 5th to the 10th. You can go to westernbloodstock.com for everything, or go to the booth here, the exhibit hall.
Yeah, the booth's been busy. Lots of people shopping 2-year-olds, kicking tires, looking, checking under the hood. So it's fun to see, and it's always good. For that time of year to see these colts develop, and these 2-year-olds, I mean, they just get more and more trained every year.
They look like older horses, and sometimes you wonder, but I mean, they're just, everything has gotten better. Our breeding, our training, our sports medicine, I mean, these horses are just improving every year, and we just shake our head at how good they really are. And go pick one. I mean, it's like going into the candy store. What do you like? And there's plenty to go around, but awesome horses available at these sales.
Yeah. Well, and as you said, so we're going to be going into the second go-around tomorrow. We've got, from what Kerry Claxton told me, we're going to have 6 sets the first 2 days each day, and then we're going to have the 5 sets on the third day, I believe. It took a 4:33.5 to make it last year to the semis, and they had quite a few extras going in, the ties going in, so it'll be interesting to see. The weather's been fairly good. I mean, we had a little cold front come through. It cooled off a little bit here today, but we don't have anything drastic coming in that we've seen. Nothing like Buffalo's getting now.
No, my goodness, no. We didn't have to move the cutting to Detroit into the Silverdome or whatever. Thank you for that. And I assume we'll probably switch cattle suppliers in the morning, so it'll be a little different flavor. And And you know, I mean, it's always the second go round is where it starts to get a little more serious, and things tighten up a little bit in the judging aspect of it. And these guys have been fair. They have not given anything away. You've had to cut. If you cut, they'll pay you for it. If you go in there and play around and try and hide, they're not going to buy it. Yeah. And that's the way personally I like it. I think that's the way it should be that way. Show your horse, you know, and I think we're going to see some great runs the next few days, and 75 head advance to that third round, and then we kick into the non-pro stuff towards Thanksgiving time, and away we go. We're 6 days into 29 days or 28 days or however many days.
We're pacing ourselves.
Yeah,
we're pacing ourselves.
Exactly.
It's a long show.
Yeah.
But you know, the nice thing about it is, and talking to some of the trainers, it's like it's a long show. It's a lot of work, but it's not like you've got 50 head of horses to work.
Right.
Unless you're a Don.
A Don does.
A Don does. But he chose to do that.
Yeah.
But like these other guys that don't have right now, they don't have the 4-year-olds, the 5-6-year-olds, and all the other stuff. They can just stay focused, and that's what's unique about this show. They can focus on those few horses that they have in their barn and their catch riders and advance. And now obviously some of that's been trimmed out.
Yeah.
And but like you said, everybody's dipped their toe in the water in Will Rogers now, and now it's game time, game on. You know?
Yeah. More people coming to town. It was good to see the crowd tonight. I mean, it was somewhat, you know, crowded down below, and the owners are coming to town. And again, the cutting starts in the morning, in my opinion, and we'll let them sort themselves out. You know, it's probably going to take 34-ish. I'd feel pretty comfortable with 34. If you know that number probably is going to be safe. You know, but you never know. I mean, we got to see what the cows are and go from there.
Yeah. Well, that's all we can do. Well, that's it for today's show. Be sure and join us after the second go-around. In the meantime, catch all the live action on CHC Live Scoring, and this PHC Wrap Up Show is brought to you by Foresight. Thank you. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Mark.